Hey everyone, Pupsker here, and today in Warframe, I wanted to talk about the brand new Warframe Jade. Of course, if you don't already know, you're able to farm Jade on the brand new post-Jade Shadows quest game mode on Uranus. You can go to Ascension, the brand new game mode, or you can buy her on the Mercury La Ronda Relay after you farm up the new game mode with motes, pretty much the default currency. But let's quickly run a mission with her, talk about her, and show off what she can do, and have a little build guide and review. Just talking about Jade, right now she is a support and damage Warframe. Her passive essentially adds Light's Judgments to enemies, and they take 50% more damage, or it adds 50% vulnerability to them. You know, just enemies take more damage. Your first ability, it's a heal and a damage, so it does a little bit of fire damage to the enemies, but it also heals your allies. Your second ability can either give you increased squad weapon damage, increase squad shield effectiveness, pretty much regen and regen delay, or it can increase squad's ability strength by a good margin, I might add. And you can also just chuck down your first abilities, running around to do damage, or heal you and your allies, right? Pretty cool frame overall. Her third ability is actually amazing. What it does is it does forward damage to enemies, and it slowly saps their armor. So it is a low tier armor shred, and you can totally kill a ton of enemies that way. And it also has a big slow, and that is why enemies are just not moving. It's because they're actually slowed, and they can't move. So her third ability is actually amazing. Would recommend. Now, her fourth ability is something else. You fly into the air and do little damage thrown down below, but you also have an alt fire, which will blow up your Light's Judgments and deal increased damage to the enemies. Point being is you definitely want to fly around in this mode, do some damage to enemies, and then hit your alt fire, and it'll do that explosion and deal more damage. So that's kind of how her kit works. It's pretty good, and we'll go look at her kit more after, but she's essentially new Hildren, a lot of people are calling her. You can just fly around, do damage, and the damage type on her kit by default is heat. So she attacks with heat. So just keep that in mind. She's a hot Warframe, but her attack damage numbers, as you can see, base aren't insane. They're decent enough, but they aren't game-breakingly insane, right? She's a strong Warframe, but she could be stronger for sure. Unless if you choose to build her full damage, hardcore, balls to the wall, yeah, she'll do more damage. But I am not doing that. I'm just building her kind of jack of all trades, using her for her abilities well. Can throw all of these down, throw on my fourth ability, keep running around, do a lot of damage, make sure to pop those. Yeah, she's pretty good. She'll absolutely annihilate regular mode, but if you want her to be high damage only frame, you know, maybe she'll be a little less damage for Seal Path. But if you're still popping her damage vulnerability using her kit, you should be good to go. By the way, when you get kills, I believe in her fourth ability using Glory, her augmented weapon, you are also increasing the duration of your second ability. So you do want to be using your fourth ability pretty constantly to fly around, kill enemies, and that'll make sure the duration of your second ability stays up, and you'll continually just kill enemies as time goes on. Hello. Either way, Jade seems right now like a pretty good Warframe. Like she's pretty good. She's doing a lot of that good damage and good heals. It's nice that she has a mixture of damage and heals, but hey, we'll run into the simulacrum after, but first I just wanted to go over her abilities again. First off, this one, she has 2 aura mod slots, that's cool, but I want to talk about it again. Her abilities, some of them, apply judgment, increase enemy damage vulnerability 50%, right? Good damage boost? Yeah, clap, 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 good damage boost. Again, we go over her first ability. You can have 5 of them up, and it heals, and it does fire damage. Not too shabby. I do wish it had a longer duration and range, but especially duration, but hey, it is what it is. Second ability, you can look over the stats, but just damage increase, strength increase, or shield increase. Sweet. Killing enemies surrounded by judgments. Okay, extends the duration of each song by killing enemies surrounded by judgments. It's not her fourth ability, it's her first ability. if they're surrounded by the judgments. So yeah, keep on it. Her third ability is, as we talked about, just forward AOE slow, armor shred, and damage. While it's not insane damage-wise, the armor shred is nice, not insane, but nice, and the slow is pretty wild because you just freeze people there, so cool. Last but not least is her alt fire fourth ability weapon, augmented flight mode. This is a gun that shoots. It has an alternative fire. It has empowerment or empowered range multiplier. Mwah. Great. I would 100 recommend you try her out at least once. You have a judgment chance of 10% hitting with that. I think enemies who get hit with your one just always get hit with the judgment, so yeah, you want to throw around a lot of judgments, and you'll want to throw on Glory on High, and you'll want to go and kill all of the enemies. It also has damage reduction, and I think it caps at 50%, so you don't necessarily need a ton of strength, but if you want to try and like put on more strength, you can try and go for it. For example, if I only went with strength builds here, just 1, 2, 3 type of thing, you would see that my ability, I want to see if it is, yeah, it still caps at 50%, but it'll do a lot more damage. So if you want to throw in more of a damage build, go for it, right? If that's your prerogative, it's up to you. 100% go for it. I'll show off my build and how it kind of interacts over at the Simulacrum. And the best part about the new Simulacrum is there's an actual Warframe update. You can buy new Simulacrum rooms from Akrathis on Zeramin and the 6 main factions in Warframe. So I just thought I'd mention that because it is pretty cool. We can go to Cephalon Ortis. I'll throw on my right mods, and I will go to the Red Veil Temple Simulacrum. It's the Red Veil Temple, quite obviously. Right? It's pretty cool. I love it. Anyways, let's throw on our proper mod set so I can show you how she works. And then I will also throw on and show you Glory. This is what I have for her mod set. Brief Respite, just so that like I'll throw abilities down, I won't die if I pay attention. Yeah. Aerodynamics, I'm in the air, take less damage reduction. Makes sense, right? Just a little bit more DR, because why not? Makes sense to me. I want more range, so I threw on Cunning Drift. Prime Continuity, because yeah, you really need some duration. Augur Secrets, because I want strength, but I don't like negative mods. Augur Message, because same thing. Archon Intensify, because you do heal and throw your first ability down a lot. This will probably end up granting you ability strength, so it's pretty good if people are using health. So it's not 100%. You do actually have to heal people. A little annoying, but whatever. Next up we have is Archon Vitality. Since almost all of your abilities do heat damage, screw it, threw this on, and hopefully abilities do more heat damage. Even though your heat damage isn't insane, is not insane, I'd still throw it on. Prime Flow, so you have a huge energy pool and you won't run out while flying, because I think default 150 is a little too low for her, or like default 200, didn't quite like it. Streamline, so that I can use and spam abilities harder. Stretch, because dear god do I need more range. Molt Augmented, because I desperately want more strength. And Arcane Energize, honestly, you could swap this out with something like Molt Efficiency if you keep your shield up. You can swap it out with anything else if you so choose. I just kind of always throw on Energize because I'm lazy and I don't have a ton of amazing other things to use. Barrier's also really good, or Grace if you're looking for something defensive. I'm just trying to think, and I don't really have anything amazing that I could chuck on over it. Maybe Molt Vigor if you're looking for something like that, but yeah. Check on something else if you're looking for something else, and you should be able to do a good chunk of damage, but I'm chucking on Molt Augmented for some more strength and Arcane Energize. If I had any Archon Shards on her, I would recommend 2 yellow Tau Forge casting speed Archon Shards. Her first ability has dog shit terrible casting speed, so you can have 5 of them up at a time, but watch this. This is her default casting speed. It takes you legitimately 5, 6, 7 seconds to get out all of those. So by the time you have 5 of them up, the last one you threw is almost kind of running out. So I just don't think her cast speed's good enough. So I would throw on casting speed. You can cast your second and third ability pretty quickly, but man, do I hate not having good casting speed for her first ability. It's like Protea's ability. You really want to have that sweet, sweet casting speed. Either way, I would recommend that. 2 Archon casting speed shards. I would have then 1 duration or 2 duration and 1 strength. Either 2 strength, 1 duration, or 2 duration, 1 strength Tau Forge Archon shard. Because the lack of duration on her kind of pisses me off, but I'm kind of okay with her having lower strength. You know, like, I'm definitely not using corrupted mods because they make me mad, but I would like her to have more strength, but I also want more duration. So probably 1 duration and 2 strength, but it's up to you. She will, after a bit of time, get insanely strong when you run Molt Augmented. So either way, she should do good. Just keep that in mind. But that is my general build for Jade and how I want to use her as a Warframe. Yeah, feel free to throw out how you want to build her. Anything works. Of course, this is Warframe. You can use and run anything. Next, we'll take a look at the Glory. So this is her, like, augmented weapon. Is that the word? Auxiliary weapon? Either way. This is her 4th ability, fully moddable weapon. By default, pretty low fire rate, 1.67, no multi-shot, reload 2 seconds, there's no reload. It has a 2 crit chance, or sorry, 2 crit multiplier. Exalted weapon, yeah, that's the word. God, my mind doesn't work sometimes. 15% crit chance and 20% crit status chance. So just by default stats, it is not an insane god tier weapon. It is no Arbequex, right? It's not a Necromech exalted weapon. It's not amazing, okay? It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. So yeah, default damage is 231. And it does have like kind of a small AOE explosion, but it does also have the alt fire, and that is kind of better. So hey, that's the default heat damage of 231, but this is what I threw on for my config. I'd say pretty average config for me, right? You have galvanized diffusion, galvanized shot, more status damage, more multi-shot, so damage. Double crit mod you can throw on, like bullseye, but I didn't want to lose that 20% fire rate. So yeah, I'm putting on Prime Pistol Gambit, Lethal Torrent and Fire Rate, Multi-Shot, sorry, and Fire Rate. I always love Lethal Torrent, just kind of always go to, so yeah, you could swap things around more. I also then chucked on Accelerated Isotope for A, more status radiation damage, and B, more fire rate, because I still feel like it attacked a little slow. And then Pistol Pestilence with Prime Convulsion, just so that I could throw on some corrosion. Is it necessary? No, throw on whatever like element you feel like. I kind of want to throw on Blast and mess around with that. But then if I throw on Blast, like it would mess around with the default heat, and then I'd have to throw on another one, so maybe I'd make mine like Blast Toxin or something. But yeah, think about it. There's a lot of cool ways you can mod nowadays, so just do whatever you feel like. That's what I have on for the Glory. 4 mods on Glory. Okay, sorry, 4 Forma on Glory, 2 Forma on Jade. Judge it how you will. This is like a pretty cheap, simple, quick build. I don't like going hard into even like Blind Rage. I don't like, because I hate having negative efficiency no matter what. I just want to be lazy and play Warframe, so I don't go for any niche or very specific types of builds. I just chuck on whatever I feel like. Oh, that was the reset. Either way, if I chuck on the group of Murmurs, you'll see, or the group of Orokin, you'll see that the damage on your one, while it's not amazing, it's like decent enough. It'll be better for lower levels, but you're not like killing enemies with the damage on this one easily, right? Once you throw on your 3rd ability, that's when your damage is gonna get multiplied. And then you can increase your strength even more off your 2nd ability, right? And then you have even more of a damage buff. So she does kind of work well with herself, just in the confines of her own ability set. But again, man, she's not gonna be taking enemies down instantly with her 1 and 3 combo, 1, 2, 3 combo. It's just not how she's made. She's not meant to instantly nuke with her 1 and 3 or anything. Not at all, not at all. No, no, no. That's not how she's supposed to work, not at all. Instead, you're supposed to fly around, chuck down your 1st ability. I don't know if you noticed, but it throws even slower when you're in your 4th ability. So it sucks and it pisses me off. Either way, you cast your abilities down, you shoot, and then you Light's Judgment them, and that is how you're doing a lot of damage. It is that Light's Judgment, it's popping the Judgment at the top of them, and that is what's doing a ton of damage. You can use your auto fire, and that'll do a little bit of damage, not terrible or anything. But I have to say, her alternative fire is really what's pumping out the big damage numbers there. So if you're going against a full group like this, you're popping your 4th ability. You want to make sure they all have some judgment, right? They all have stacks of judgment on them. That's why having some range definitely helps. It just takes so long to throw that down. All right, then you do some of this and then pop. That's where most of the damage is going to come in. Of course, it has issues still killing the stronger, harder enemies like the Gunners, Xmas units, right? Struggles a little bit for sure. And it costs a little bit of energy using that. But the damage is still overall very good. And as a support damage frame, she works really well. There's probably a ton of videos with random builds using the Helminth, calling her OP nuke frame, just insane god tier frame. Yeah, that's most frames on release, so I wouldn't take that too personally. She's nowhere near as no effort insane god tier as something like Dante. Like, not even close, not even up for debate. She's a more well-regulated, down-to-earth, playable Warframe in the grand scheme of the game. So that's my build guide review and everything on Jade for Jade Shadows. Let me know what you think. As always, subscribe, like, favorite, and check out all the socials, you know, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I have an Epic Games creator code Pupsker, but I'm trying to hit 5,000 followers on Facebook so I can finally monetize my Facebook page. But it looks like Facebook mainly wants anime gacha games, so that's mainly what's on there. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little weird. Either way, let me know what you think of the brand new frame Jade, if she's your favorite, if you love her, hate her, or not. I think she's decent, not my favorite, but I do think she's decent. So, yeah, let me know, and I will see you next time. Cheers.